Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. So today I want to talk about a damage report from our big lake ride and some other stuff going on. So, you know, everything they say comes in threes. So let's hop right into it and let's talk about our Pioneer. So as you saw in the last video, it wasn't really rolled all the way. It was just flopped on its side, but it was more than 90 degrees when down the hill. So we got pulled over. Unfortunately, it took 2 tries to pull it over. The first try, the person pulling over was in a Can-Am and just didn't have enough traction. The wheels were spinning. We were in a gravel pit, so it kind of went up and then back down. I think that caused a little bit more damage instead of just pulling it back over one time. The bad part is the only one who was out there with a winch was the old Pioneer, and it was on its side and there was nowhere that I could winch it over without doing more damage. So we ended up hooking a tow strap right here where I think was one of the stronger points because of the harness bar, and it's a lot thicker than this tubing. So let's go ahead and let's look at the Pioneer and see exactly what's damaged for now. No, I haven't disassembled everything because the parts should be here next week. I don't want to take stuff apart and not remember how to put it back together. So let's start on the most obvious thing right here, this rear romps section. As you can see, it has a nice bend in it. So this took the brunt of it when we rolled over. I think this actually hit a rock. So this piece here is going to get replaced. Up on this romp section, your B pillar, really it's just some scratches right there. Not a big deal. As you can see, the roof is off. For those wondering why the roof is off, well, I want to do a very thorough inspection. So this B pillar of this romp section will not be getting replaced. There's nothing wrong with it other than some scratches. I'll probably just smooth them out a little bit with the flapper wheel, a little rattle can. You'll never know it happened. But when I was doing my inspection, I was looking for any wrinkles, creases, or flaking of the factory powder coating. I went all the way down to the bottom of the frame. There is none. We took the roof off. We looked all the way up. Same thing up here with this A-pillar of the romps, no issues. Surprisingly, my cheap mirrors didn't break. It's my 3rd set and all the plastic ones broke, so that's pretty good. What else broke? Well, let's look back here. I don't know if anyone's noticing, but there's something missing, and that is right here. The limit strap broke, but it wasn't the strap, it was actually this piece of metal right here. And I think that's because of all the leverage that was on that tire right there. We went over a couple times. Not a big deal. I've already ordered new limit straps. Again, hopefully they'll be here this coming week. So the front end is probably gonna take the most work. First of all, the alignment is completely out. I don't know if I stripped the heavy duty tie rod or the nut just backed out or whatnot, but I'm not gonna take it apart yet because I need to replace the steering box. The steering box is a little crunchy and I have about that much play in the steering wheel before it really starts to move. So that's on order with the romps. I was gonna upgrade that to the RB3 billet steering box, but those are on back order just like the regular ones. And we have the Silverton, Colorado trip coming up Labor Day weekend. So I gotta get this thing back on the road. I also have a leaking differential seal on this side only. I'm assuming it's when we pulled it over, the axle input shaft probably nicked it or did something. Not a big deal. The seal is $4 and those are in stock and I've already got them right here. So we're gonna replace this, but again, I'm not gonna do it until I take everything apart. We also have a bent light bar mount, but you know what? A little hammer, tighten up a bolt, not a big deal there. And then we have lots of scratches on the plastic. As you can see, I did an initial clean. I pressure washed it with a little bit of degreaser, and then I use the 303 protectant on it, and we are not replacing any plastic. The biggest damage of plastic is right here, and believe it or not, I've taken this whole panel off, and it's where this part of the romp system bolts in. There's actually a bracket right there. So no issues there. We got off pretty cheap, between $1,000 and $1,200 in damage, obviously not including the labor. So no, I was not the one who flopped it on our side. It was a friend of mine. The key is everyone is okay. The romps did its job. The seatbelts did its job, and we're good to go. So being in true Honda, we started her back up. After I checked the oil, the fluids, everything was good to go. and we drove it for the rest of the weekend. I was just fighting the steering issue the whole time. So if you pay attention to the beginning of the video, I said things come in threes. So yes, I am having a run of bad luck on threes. Number one is my Pioneer. Number two is my Motorhome. The rear access panel right here broke off. I was going down a rough road in Arizona, and the mounts broke, and it was actually flopping around. It did a bunch of damage to the rear of my Motorhome. The panel eventually broke off. It was hanging by some wires and shattered. So that's number two. Number three is I was towing my Durango. We were going to Estes Park, Colorado at the time. And as that piece of fiberglass was flopping around right and left, it beat up the front of my Durango. So that is also in the shop. So three things are getting fixed right now. Again, fortunately, no one was hurt, so it was all good. So some of the upcoming videos are obviously going to be fixing this. The steering box will be the most difficult thing, obviously, to fix, and then we'll do an alignment. We'll check out those tie rods and do the new seal in the differential. The rear ROMs is really going to be a bolt and unbolt thing, and same thing with the limit strap. That will be fairly easy. So one of the things we're going to do here in the near future is make a spare tire carrier. I've looked all over online. There's lots of them out there, but there's none of them for the Pioneer that I'm happy with, and none of them that will actually hold a 35-inch tall tire. So I need my spare tire carrier to be able to be utilized in the garage, in the buggy when it's just me and one or two people, or still be utilized in the buggy when I have all 5 seats filled. So it's going to kind of be a convertible one. Pretty simple. I got some ideas in my head, and I'm really not going to spend much money on it. I'm going to use some scrap metal I got around the garage. I did end up buying a ROM mount right there, so we'll get that done here in the next few weeks. Another thing that we're going to do is we're going to install a front and rear backup camera. I do have a system. I got it on Amazon for 72 bucks. So we're going to do a front camera and a backup camera. I got the biggest screen I could, and it allows me to switch between both cameras or have both cameras on the screen at the same time. And my biggest concern is I'm so high up, when those rear seats are up, I don't want to hit a kid. I don't want to damage anyone's property. So we're going to go ahead and do that here in the near future. And all this will be done in the next couple weeks before the Silverton trip. As you can see, I have been rearranging my garage. I've dedicated the cars to be outside. It is just too hot to be working outside in 110, 115 degree days. So we're going to be working in the garage. I did have an electrician come in and put a 50 amp plug in here for the welder. Eventually I will end up buying a TIG welder so we can do some more pretty welds, and then hopefully one day a plasma table. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and until next time.